Welcome to the Hooligan Nation, a KISS-Centric podcast. I'm Anthony.
I'm Rocco.
Yes, you are. Welcome to our version of As the KISS World Turns, where we discuss KISS current events, rumors, news, and interviews with current and past members. Strap in, crank it up, and let's talk KISS. What's up, Father Rocco?
What's happening?
Thank you. Thank you. I needed that today.
I'm wearing a Father Rocco shirt. See my Father Rocco shirt?
Oh, look at that. Oh, what's that say? The Lord will save you. Not
Absolutely.
me. He's not going to save me. He's going to move on to something more worthy of Savior, I'm pretty sure.
You ask, you will receive.
Oh, is that true? Yeah, but I'd be asking for things that the Lord does not want to answer. You know, Lord,
On a different podcast.
can you bring me Samantha Fox tonight?
No, have some fun.
Why would you ask me that question? Huh? Because I am what I am.
Popeye.
All right. It's been a long week. What do you want to talk about this week?
How about KISS?
Oh, it's good. Well, we started the KISS podcast off talking about Samantha Fox. So we just threw the Hooligans a curveball to start off.
If I'm being honest, I mean, I think it's good. You have good taste.
Everything Samantha Fox is good taste. Everything.
That may be a different podcast.
And there's such a joke there, but I won't go there.
We're not gonna.
But
Well,
I'm
they're taking
thinking
so far.
I'm thinking about going there, but I won't go there. Now all you got to do is bring up balls, and I can slide Vinny in, and we'll be complete. We can just end this. That's good. You put your Manson lamps on. I love it when you put your Manson lamps on. All right, let's get to some KISS news. Okay,
Okay.
how's that sound to you?
Sounds fantastic.
Okay, cool. We'll start out with the world of tanks. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't think so. You know what? Here is the Hooligan Nation podcast being transparent. I have no idea what I'm talking about. None at all. I can't figure out what this is. Last week, I think on Thursday of last week, KISS Online put out a trailer of World of Tanks KISS Edition. And I've spent the last few days trying to figure out what the hell it is. The trailer was kind of cool. It was kind of cartoonish.
Have anything to do with the tank drum set thing?
No, I don't think so. I think it's like a online video game or something. And no matter how much I've researched, I've done on this, and I've done quite a bit, I cannot figure out what the hell it is. I know that, of course, I went to, all the groups and the message boards and everything else, and 50% of them are killing KISS for this, that it's some kind of money grab, and the other 50% think it's kind of cool. And then there's, well, I guess it shouldn't be 50% because we're counted in the 50% and the 50%. And then there's like me and you who can't even figure out what the hell it is. So I don't know where I stand about it.
Sounds interesting. I like video games like Mario.
Mario Brothers. Boy, did you just show your age. Oh, how's that drink taste?
So good.
Oh, isn't it? It's so good when you drink it out of a Hooligan Nation container. I would love to speak about World of Tanks in more detail, except I have yet to figure out exactly what the hell it is. So stay tuned. To be continued. Maybe Gene will give me a call. Call me Gene. And Gene and I can talk about it, because if it's going to make Gene money or KISS money, Gene will know everything about it, I hope. Which moves us into our second topic, which is the Ace Frehley interview in Guitar World magazine by Janelle Borg with contributions from Andrew Daly. This was published August 17th, 2025. This is not the complete interview for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it says at the bottom that more of the interview will come out as time goes on. Guitar World's full interview with Ace Frehley will be published in the coming weeks. So this isn't the full interview, but man, let me tell you something. There is a lot to unpack here, and there is a lot to break down here. So let's just jump right into this. And I'm pretty sure that almost every quote will shock you and will shock the hooligans. And, as Ace said, it's already shocked me.
Well, listen,
Uh,
when Ace speaks, KISS fans pay attention.
well, there's a lot to pay attention here. One of the quotes is, "I'm the kind of guy that never says never. I don't hate Paul or Gene. We're rock and roll brothers." Ace Frehley sets the record straight on where things stand with KISS. Frehley discusses why he's not appearing at any of the band's upcoming events and on his often complicated relationship with Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. It's safe to say that the KISS universe is never short of drama. That might be an understatement. Many fans have been left wondering why Ace Frehley wasn't invited or seemingly declined the opportunity to join his former bandmates at the KISS Cruise Landlocked in Vegas event at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas this November, which will also include Bruce Kulick, KISS guitarist between 1984 and 1996. Ace says, "They asked me, and I declined. Matter of factly, there's no way I'm going to be involved with that. You know, their biggest mistake is that they should have done that at Madison Square Garden, not in Las Vegas in a 5,000 seater or whatever it is." What say you?
Yeah, so he's basically his complaint is that it's too low amount of numbers. Like the capacity is too small for them to do something like that there.
No, I didn't take it as that. I took it as, you should have done this at the Garden at the last concert. You chose not to do it.
Well, I mean, listen, we all know. I imagine Gene and Paul and Peter feel the same way. I mean, I would say the Garden has a very important, you know, it's very important to them. I know it was for Ace. Well, I think we both agree the Vegas connection has a lot to do with it because they have the avatars. Like it makes sense on a business sense because they got a lot of other projects going on at the same time, right?
I just don't think this has as much to do with Vegas as maybe you're taking out of this. I think this is more about the last two concerts at the Garden. And
From Ace, you're saying Ace
from
perspective.
from Ace, yes. I don't think that Ace necessarily has an issue with Las Vegas or how many people are going to be there. I think the issue is we weren't good enough for the Garden. So we're and I'm saying we, and I shouldn't.
But
He's
they
not.
also they did ask him. He wanted six figures, right? He wanted right?
Well, that's what I was going to bring up next, is that, and who knows whether he was joking.
I have a feeling that when it comes to money, the jokes are done.
No, but I mean, look, there's no way for people like you and I to know how much money is enough money and how much money is too much money. So Ace is pretty much on record. I think he's on record saying he wanted $250,000 to play at the Garden. Now, my first thought is, what you talking about, Willis? Like, it's $250,000, and I've said this on this podcast before. Like, for a normal person, I think, I don't know how normal I could call myself, but for a normal person, $250,000 to stand up there and play, I don't know, one, two, three songs maybe, is crazy. If I was Paul and Jean, I would never agree to that. Now, there's other factors. If Paul and Jean grossed $15 million that night, then Ace asking for $250,000 might not be crazy. But I don't know how much Paul and Jean grossed that night. So it's kind of a moot point in a lot of ways because we don't know the inner workings, especially of the money.
It's kind of like his statement about the brothers thing is kind of like very hypocritical in a way because he says that they're brothers on one hand, yet, and it's not totally his doing or his fault, but it's so business. It's so about money with the four of them. Everything and all the pushback and all the things decisions that are made, ultimately, money is the sticking point. It became very business-like. So that's why the brothers comment kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, this is going to end up being a more interesting segment than I even imagined because
By the way, too, that every Kiss fan wants that. Wants to feel like they still feel like they're each other, they're brothers, you know?
I kind of understand that. Like, I think at the end of the day, they all like each other. I think when you throw money in and you throw control in and you throw power in, is when they have an issue. So I take Ace on his quote.
You
Uh
know what? You know, I would disagree with you if the acoustic thing didn't happen. Or there was a lot of bad feelings leading up to that, but that acoustic set showed that there was some genuine like.
right, but once they went into business with each other, it didn't
Changed.
last very long
Shame.
after that before there was a problem. I'm sure Ace and Peter got paid for Unplugged. That's a one-off type of thing. And I think it's pretty safe to say things were pretty low at the time for both Ace and Peter.
Which is a
Uh,
good caveat. You just led me pretty good. It's kind of neat if you think about it. It's kind of neat that after all these years and all this stuff that's gone by, the opportunities really never end for them. There's still always, if they're able to swallow their pride and be able to work through the money thing, there's always opportunities for them to still be involved with Kiss. And I think that's kind of cool. No matter how bad the feelings are, it's never completely off the table.
I definitely don't think anything is ever completely off the table for them. I do think that the price tag has gone up. I think at the end of the day, it's about ego. So, do I think that Gene and Paul care if Pop House paid Ace whatever he wants? I no, it doesn't come out of their pocket, but I still think they care. And they
Oh, of
care
course.
because it's an ego and it's a control thing.
That's, you know what? There's a saying, and I know you're going to agree with this. That's how you keep score. It doesn't even matter about the money. It's how you keep score.
Right. And I think Ace right now, look, Ace isn't stupid. And people accuse Ace of being stupid all the time. Ace isn't stupid. They renamed and rebranded Vegas. Gene and Paul came out, made a video. He knows it's not selling well. And it would probably, and not probably, it absolutely would kick up sales. I think Ace knows that. And I
Definitely.
think it's leverage. It's leverage. And it's just kind of funny to me that Peter hasn't said anything about anything. I'm waiting for Peter to make a statement in
Yeah, you know what?
regards to
It's kind of
that.
funny. It's kind of his style, man. He always kind of stays out in the fringe,
Yeah.
which, if you think about it, it goes against everything he was in the beginning of his career. He wanted attention all the time.
Right. Well, I think that is also an age thing. I think Peter's at the age that maybe I said this before. I don't think that I even started to grow up till I like hit 50.
Hmm.
Maybe for Peter, it took until his 70s for him to grow up, and I can't knock him for that. I'm not sure if my growing up is complete or not, but I think I've jumped from a 9-year-old to an 11-year-old, so I'm working on it.
If you think about the four personalities, regardless of them having their difficulties, I mean, we've talked this subject to nauseum, but living and being in that environment with Gene and Paul couldn't have been easy.
No, I'm sure it couldn't have been easy, but I can throw that back on you. What do you think? Being Gene and Paul was easy, dealing with Ace and
Oh, no,
Peter?
no, no. That's what I'm saying. Those four personalities, all four of them are larger than life.
I mean, look, we are at the end of the day, we are a Kiss podcast, but this is not a Kiss issue. This is a every band issue.
Yes.
The time that's spent together, the give and take that needs to happen, and we've killed this too. The fact that two band members sold everything and gave up their rights. So Gene and Paul are holding them to that. Like, hey, you wanted to get paid in the early '80s for what you owned, and we paid you.
And then
I'm
they,
guessing I'm
and then they,
guessing
I'm
you
just going to say, and then they sell everything.
right, and they make probably 100 times the amount that they sold that Ace and Peter sold it to them for. And I'm sure that that pisses both Ace and Peter off, but that's investment. That's a smart investment by Paul and Gene and a bad investment by Ace and Peter.
And they sold it and they still have a say. That's some smart business right there.
Guitar World points out that Frehley has participated in Kiss Cruises in the past. Ace replies, there are multiple reasons, you know. Paul, towards the end of the Road World Tour, about 9 months before Kiss was going to play Madison Square Garden, both Paul and Gene were saying, we're going to bring everybody out on stage. And then a few months before the concert, they both they both changed their tune and said Ace and Peter aren't going to do it. In fact, Paul went on to say, and Ace either misspoke or was misquoted, but we'll get into that. Paul went on to say, if Ace and Peter got on stage with us, the band could be called Piss. So I kind of got into an argument with him. Now, the way I remember it is the Piss statement was made about the
Howard
Rock and
Stern.
Roll Hall of Fame. It was not made about the end of the road. Guitar World goes on saying, despite their arguments throughout the years, Frehley isn't ruling out the possibility of reuniting with Stanley despite their complex relationship. He goes on to say, once again, I'm the kind of guy that never says never. He adds, I don't hate Paul or Gene, you know. We're rock and roll brothers, and Peter too. So anything can happen. You know, it's a bad business move on Ace's part to
You
close
know,
the door.
it makes me think right now, like of you saying that, like we pretty much know the relationship with Gene, Peter, and Ace. I think one of the most interesting dynamics would be to have Ace and Paul and just have them go at it back and forth and just like hash out some shit so you can actually hear what's going on. You know what I mean? Because Paul comes across like he can be extremely cold and like, you know what I mean? Like I could see, to me, regardless of what Ace just said, I feel like there's unrepaired issues with the two of them. I still believe that.
Sure, I think it's based on money and power. I think Ace believes that whatever Gene and Paul get paid is what he should get paid.
But could you hear behind closed doors Paul trying to belittle Ace at times to try to knock him down?
Yeah, I think that's believable. I think that's probably believable. I think that probably started around 1978 when the solo albums came out.
It's got to be some kind of competitive thing too between the two of them.
Sure. I would believe that. I mean, I don't know, some of this makes all the sense in the world. Other parts of it don't make any sense at all, which is why we sit here and talk about it. Fraley admits at this point he's having too much fun doing his own thing. Folks, I love Ace, but I'm not believing that in any way, shape, or form. It is currently August 26th. In 4 days, Ace is going to play the Allentown Fair. And funny enough, just as a quick note, I looked at tickets for the Allentown Fair. They are currently trying to sell every ticket for $61.50.
Yeah.
Wait, it gets better. It's three quarters empty as of right now. That is Ace Frehley, Quiet Riot, and Great White. Now, Quiet Riot is nothing more than Rudy Sarzo with a backup band, and Great White is with a I don't even know who the lead singer of Great White is right now. So, that goes into play, but I'm guessing that Friday night, Saturday morning, those tickets are dropping to about $15 a ticket. I don't know if I brought this up last week, but David Lee Roth tickets they weren't crazy expensive, but David Lee Roth was supposed to play Wind Creek Casino, I think a couple Sundays ago. And if you go on Wind Creek's website, the tickets were, there was like, I'm not kidding, there was like 5 tickets left in the entire place, and they were like $100 tickets, and they were all scattered, one seat here, one seat there. And then for shits and giggles, I went on StubHub and found these tickets, and there was a lot of them, and found them as low as $23. And I think it was 17th row was like $23. So in that case, that was the scalpers bought those tickets up and they weren't selling. In other words, Wind Creek shows you all the tickets that they've sold, but the majority of those tickets had to be sold to scalpers who had not. And I did look at a little video, and it looked like it was pretty full, but there were thousands of tickets. I think Wind Creek, was that a cookie?
Huh?
Was that a cookie?
Jolly Rancher.
Jolly Rancher. Wow. Grapes and Jolly Ranchers. Can I ask what flavor Jolly Rancher?
It's a strawberry one.
So you're mixing grape and strawberry. Boy, that's like having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with grape jelly and strawberry jam. So just because they put them tickets for sale for $61.50, there ain't no way they're getting anywhere near $61.50. I mean, the amount of empty seats, there is no way that they're paying all 3 of those bands, even if they charged $50 a beer. Last quote from Ace, my favorite one, and maybe I'll eventually get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist.
He didn't say that. Tell me he didn't say that.
No, he said that. I think in this has to come into play for a lot of things that
He's
Ace
serious?
says. What?
Is he serious?
No, I think he's joking. I think he's
Okay.
joking. I hope he's joking.
I hope he's joking.
I mean, if he's
I love
not
Ace,
joking,
but I mean,
he
Ace.
he he listened to Gene's multiple podcast interviews where Gene says be delusional about yourself. So Maybe he listened to that. Anyway, just so everybody knows, I don't understand this. Guitar World's full interview with Ace Frehley will be published in the coming weeks. So I don't know what else is going to come out. But there's that. Do you have anything you'd like to add to this before we go away?
I'm going to say what every KISS fan would love. I'd love to see everybody there at the Vegas thing. To be honest with you, I'd like to see everything, all of them at the Vegas thing, and I'd like to see them do something again at the Garden, if it was up to me.
Look, I look at it this way. There's one of two things going on here. Either Ace is just tired of all the bullshit, and he put his foot down and said, "No, I don't want any part of Vegas," or they're negotiating, and they're gonna start negotiating publicly.
I'll go with choice B.
See, you know what? If given an option, I would go with choice A, because it's a little harder for Ace to walk back all these things. I mean,
Yeah, but
don't
at the
get
end
me.
of the day, it still sells.
Well, if they throw the bag at him, he's got a built-in excuse, because he can say, "Hey, they threw me the bag. I know what I said, but they threw me the bag and I took it."
And regardless,
And I
listen,
wouldn't put it past Ace actually saying that publicly. I just, for some reason, don't think that that's what's going on right now.
Ace on his own is never going to draw the attention. You put some kind of thing where Ace is going to show up and it's going to be related with KISS and it's going to be with KISS. It's a whole nother ballgame. Everybody comes crazy when
Absolutely. I think everybody knows that. I'm maybe I'm taking it for granted, but I think everybody knows that. There isn't one. And look, let me be fair. Gene could put out a great solo album. Unless it says KISS, it's going to sell about 10%. If Gene put out a album of all of his material, but put a picture of at least Paul next to him, it's going to sell much more. Same thing goes with concerts. Same thing goes with everything. So I think that's fair and even throughout all of them. And I think that matters less today than it did 5 or 10 years ago, because, Gene turned 76 yesterday.
happy birthday, Gene.
Yeah, happy birthday, Gene. If you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms, please leave us a review. And if you just found us, check out our past episodes. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel and you like this episode, please consider hitting the like button, just like that guy, and leaving us a comment. Hit that subscribe button if you want to be like Father Rocco, so you don't miss any future episodes. And check out these episodes right here. As always, if you made it this far, thank you for supporting us. And don't forget, if it's too loud, you're too old. Peace out, Hooligan Nation.